What's up? Had to give the dog a treat. The dog's sitting right here next to me. Had to take a deep breath. I'm just over the absolute insanity. I really don't care what side of the political aisle that you're sitting on. I don't care if you're Republican. I don't care if you're Democrat. I don't care if you're independent. I really don't care if you're a socialist. At some point, your brain has to take over. At some point, you have to understand that people obviously are lying to you. I'm not understanding what the disconnect is. Everyone keeps telling us, believe the science, believe the science, believe the science. Oh my God, I can't imagine how many times we've heard believe the science. Even when you're telling me there's 50 genders and ZBs and weebies and wavies, you keep saying believe the science. And then when we do believe the science, you get mad and say, oh, you're a denier and you're going to kill grandma. I live in Palm Beach County. I am here in Boca Raton. I know what life is like here. I am on the ground, just as you are if you're in Broward, Palm Beach, or Dade. You know exactly what's going on here. So I'm going to ask you, does what you see in the news, even our local news, match what's going on with local life where you are? When the trends on Twitter over and over are about how we're all going to die down here and how DeSantis has screwed everybody and how, he's failed Florida and it's amazing what's happened because, we're all going to get the Rona. And here it is, June 25th. And the data doesn't support that. The only thing that they're supporting is fear, which I love as a real estate investor, but I'm getting tired as a Florida resident having to get phone call after phone call from my relatives and friends and go, are you okay down there? Hey, we're fine. We're 100% fine. We're good. Don't believe what they're telling you. Would you like me to send you some real data? Oh, no. That's okay. We just want to make sure you're okay. Then don't call me tomorrow asking me if we're okay. Believe the data. By the way, let me just go ahead and text it to you so you can look at it yourself, so you can see that they are purposely, with willful and malice aforethought, driving this hysteria, this complete lunacy that everyone down here is sick and getting ready to die. At some point, we have to disconnect and say, hey, maybe we're being lied to. Maybe this testing thing isn't all it's cracked up to be. Who's inputting the data for all this testing? What kind of testing? Oh, you have a fever? Oh, you got the corona. Are you coughing? You got the corona. Sniffle nose? You got the corona. Wow, that's 5 cases right there, and I'm one guy. I'm just begging you, which is basically in conflict with my best interest as a real estate investor. It truly is, as I've been telling you. You make more money when there's fear, and they are instilling fear, so maybe I should just shut up and let it happen. But I do have family, I do have friends who care about us, and my little dog, my wife, not in that order. And she's on the phone right now. My wife is with her friend up in Pennsylvania who's terrified for us. Thinks that we're going to be going into some sort of DEFCON 1 down here because of all the coronavirus. When our local newspapers lead with stories like this and say Florida reports 5,000 new coronavirus cases, second highest in a single day, and when they put this kind of fish wrap out there and it gets put on the international webs, I scroll through this story and it just drives me crazy because as you scroll through it, it doesn't get down to the 3rd paragraph. And when they get down here, oh yeah, by the way, there are 46 new deaths. But even that, if I were to take that 46 new deaths that they said were announced today, where are they getting that number? They say that the Florida Department of Health on Thursday confirmed blah blah blah. Thursday's total of new cases is 500 fewer than yesterday. Okay, so where are they getting that number? Because we have the exact same data available to us, exact. And so let's go ahead and look at that data. That data is here. I'm going to refresh so I have the most accurate data. And here we go. As you can see, up here in the top right, hopefully you guys can see, we had on the 23rd, 5,400 cases. Yesterday, so a little over 5,000 cases. It has gone up tremendously since basically the first of the month. And to the point where we're getting, almost like somebody had said, 20,000 cases per week thus far in terms of what we've been added. But they never show you, and I'm going to have to move my big head, nobody ever talks about that. That's the rate of death. And in fact, yesterday, there were 6. I always keep clearing my screen and going, hey guys, there were 6 people died. 6. In a state of 21 million, we had 6 people die. 6. Okay? And if they're saying that it's not updated, if they're saying there's 46, we'll check tomorrow. But when I look at yesterday's here, I see 17. Day before, I see 30. Day before that, I see 27. Now, I'm not saying that these deaths aren't tragic, because obviously someone's on the other end of that statistic. Somebody actually died. Somebody, actually, unfortunately, met their demise somehow related to this disease. That's horrible. That's absolutely horrible, and nobody wants their family members to succumb to a disease. But you tell me why the frenzy is going on for that level of death. Why is it that we're seeing people actually go absolutely nuts for that amount of people dying? And this website here is available for anybody to peruse. Anybody with a brain cell could come in here and look around. They could then click into the Florida testing and see that, wow, there's only a 6.6% positive rate, that almost over 1.6 million people have tested negative. If you wanted to be smart, you could actually go through here and look at cases by county and say, okay, how about the people in Baker County? They've only had 4 people die. Is my head in the way? Yeah. They've had 4 people die. Should they be freaking out down there, up in Baker? How about, let's see, in Brevard? A total of 17. How about, we talk about what's going on in Calhoun County? 6 dead. Are you starting to see? Florida's a huge state. It takes you 5 or 6 hours or more to drive through the entire state. I've done it a number of times. What goes on in Dade County isn't necessarily the same that goes on up in Leon County, where the capital is. What goes on in Leon County isn't the same that's going to happen in Duval County. I've heard them screaming about Duval and how Duval, where Jacksonville is, where the Republican convention is going to be, and they're freaking about that as well. 64 deaths. 64 in a state of 21 million people. Now, obviously, when you look at the bigger population areas, and of course, you have Miami-Dade with 935 deaths, probably leading up the pack of the various communities. But, look at Broward, you're going to see some bigger numbers, 379. Again, that's in the entire county. You can break it down by zip code. And then, of course, here in Palm Beach, where I am, you can just come in here and see, 500. Let me get my head out the way. 500, 486. The data / the science is available for anybody to take a look at. DeSantis isn't hiding it. Nobody's hiding it. The Florida Department of Health is putting it out for all of us to view. Yeah, we've had this many cases. I don't know what that means. I don't know who they're testing. I don't know how old they are. I don't know where they live. But I do know that in the entire state, we had 6 people die yesterday and 17 a day before. So why aren't people accepting the science? Why is DeSantis failed Florida? DeSantis resigned. The Palm Beach Post, the Miami Herald, just every single newspaper / digital version of the fish wrap is just boom, boom. We're all dying. We all got the corona. Stay inside. Wear your mask. I don't have a mask. I had to go to Publix yesterday. Do you realize, and I don't think people in other areas realize this, nothing changed with the mask mandate? Do they not realize we were wearing masks in the grocery store and retail establishments already? Okay, so you're driving, you got your window open, you're cruising. No, you don't have your window open because you have the AC on because it's hot as hell down here. And you're cruising along, everything's okay. What's up? Toot toot, listen to the radio. You get to the grocery store, you get out, you walk in the parking lot. Just before you get to the door, you pull your mask on, whichever kind you have, go in, do your business, come out, take the thing off. Nothing has changed. My wife and I went to dinner at a fabulous restaurant here in Boca this past weekend. It was her birthday. And we wore a mask till we got to the front door. Maitre d' brought us in. Yes, they had the social distancing thing. Sat us at our table, mask came off. We had our nice conversation. We had a great dinner. Nothing's changed. But it sounds like it's, terrifying out there. No one's wearing a mask on the beach. No one's wearing a mask walking around the neighborhood. Are you nuts? That ain't happening. So stop worrying. If you get sick, it looks like the chances of you dying is real small. Real small. So that being said, I'm fine. Mom, sisters, cousins, friends, we're okay down here. Robin's healthy. The 2 dogs are fine. And most people with a brain are indeed looking at the science and going, what in the hell are you people talking about? Seriously, you're making yourselves look stupid. And I'm done playing the game. I'll keep talking about how the numbers affect real estate because they do. They when you're seeing those kind of tests, inevitably what you're going to be hearing is people worried about how things are going. Well, I could tell you a little bit how things are going. I talked about last week, and I've been saying this for a while now, that none of us have a crystal ball, but we're beginning to become some sort of seers. We're seeing some things happening that, from a real estate perspective, we're starting to see some things are happening, and we need to be positioned. We need to understand where we're headed and how this stuff is going to manifest for us and what we're going to need to do. So when we start looking at different things that relate to how the market is going to be, we can see that there's a tremendous amount of fear in the marketplace. And I've said it before, I'll say it again, you don't have to, but as Warren has said, be fearful when people are greedy, be greedy when others are fearful. So the more fear porn that's out there, the more greedy you need to be to start positioning yourself to be ready to take advantage of what's about to happen. That being said, let's look at something that, again, with the crystal ball, we don't know what's going to happen, but we may know when it's going to happen. You see, on June 1st, June 2nd, Ron DeSantis put a moratorium, extended the moratorium about evictions and foreclosures until July 2nd. So right as of today, no evictions and foreclosures are moving forward. They're backing up. They're getting filed. They're just not being acted upon. The meter's still running. If you have rent due, if you have mortgage payments due, the meter is most assuredly still running. But the courts haven't begun pushing through that backlog of cases. So what's going to happen next Wednesday? Next Wednesday is D-Day. Next Wednesday is July 2nd, I believe. Let me check my calendar here. You guys are looking right with me. Yeah, July 2nd. And the first is on Wednesday, and it expires on July 1st. You can read that yourself. What do you think is going to happen? Well, if he re-ups the sanction and says, hey, listen, we're going to push this back to August. We're seeing way too many cases. We're seeing, people are going nuts down here, which may be why we're seeing so many of these cases, is people knew in anticipation that this was coming. So, hey, I'm not being a conspiracy theorist, but it just kind of seems a little bit funny. Don't you think that we've got this big decision coming up on basically a week from now, and all of a sudden these cases started skyrocketing as we get closer to that date? I don't know. Is there a parallel? I can't tell you. There might be. I wouldn't put it past anybody now to see what I've been seeing the last couple of months. I know this is not science, but we've seen people advocate for tanking an economy. We've seen people go out in the street and riot / protest / look like idiots without any mask or anything, and everything's okay with that. But we've got to wear masks down here if we decide to go get a donut. So is it beyond the pale to think that this case measurement escalation is because of what's coming down the pike? Because it is. It'll be here next week. This can't go on forever. What are we going to have? Just free rent? Free mortgages? Banks aren't going to want to foreclose. Landlords aren't going to want to evict. It's just going to ride it out. How is that even possible? How can that even be a financial possibility? I don't see it. I wish somebody could explain to me. How do you expect people to just sit there and take it? Sit there, shut up, and take it. Now, there's some banks that can probably absorb some of the problems of the non-performing assets that are accumulating. There's some banks that can write it off. They're probably insured. Some of them probably through HUD. They're going to be okay. But the average landlord with 2 or 3 units who the shit rolls downhill and he hasn't made his mortgage payments, and now you're telling me that you don't know if your tenants are going to have to pay, and you don't even know if you can evict them? Is that financially sound? Is that going to help the economy? Or are we just going to keep pushing this back every time the cases spike? Every time the numbers go up, we're going to go ahead and suspend this? Does that make any sense anyway? Okay, so since it obviously doesn't make any sense, and none of us can see this thing going on and on and on, let's talk about the more likely event. That on July 2nd, the ride abruptly ends for lots and lots and lots of people. I showed you, I think it was today is Thursday, so on Tuesday I showed you that mortgage delinquencies are up over 1,100%. And now, down here in Florida, on July 2nd, the ride is coming to an abrupt halt. Please hold on. I don't know how they say that in the Disney monorail, but the doors are about to open. And when the doors open and all these foreclosures and evictions hit the court system, what do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen to the real estate market? Again, like I said, don't have a crystal ball, but you might not need one. You might not need a crystal ball. You just need to do some math and be financially sound. What do you think is going to happen when all of this hits the fan? It's not a stretch to see that the real estate market here in South Florida is about to cause a ton of problems. And I found an article that talks about these problems again. And I didn't even realize this, is that a bunch of properties got yanked off the market as real estate agents. They're also losing their shirt because they've lost billions in commissions. See how this stuff just rolls downhill? You see this? Oh, where'd my head go? There's my head. Billions in commissions out the window. So going back to everything, and I want you, and this is just a simple message as to begin looking. And as an investor, why this is so important to me, because again, and this, I'm going to drive this into your head. And if you're an investor, and if you're an agent, maybe looking to become an investor, now is the time. Now is the time to begin doing this, and now is the time to start getting ready for what's coming. Get your ducks in a row. Properties are going to, let's just say this. Let's reconvene on this subject next Wednesday or Thursday when this decree expires. If he suspends it for another month, that's bad news as well. If he suspends it and goes further, it's only delaying the inevitable. It's not making things better. I hope you understand that. The meter's still running on everybody. It's giving people another month of cushion, but it's not stopping anything. It's not even a Band-Aid. It's like someone holding their hand on the wound, just waiting, and then eventually releasing the pressure off the wound, and it's just gonna gush. Sorry for that really vivid analogy, but that's what it is. The wound isn't healed. The wound isn't stitched up. The wound isn't, even gauze on it. This is an open wound with less than field dressing. This is a wound with somebody just trying to apply pressure, just to please stop the bleeding a little bit. And meanwhile, it's coming through your fingers. Blood is literally running through the streets. And on July 2nd, someone's going to lift their hands. I don't know if you've ever seen a bad cut, where someone's trying to apply pressure and to keep the wound from just going really, really bad. My wife used to be an EMT, and you've seen things on the movies. Apply the pressure, hold it. And then, stuff squirting out and stuff. And then when you remove the hand, it's gone. July 2nd may put us in a position down here in South Florida that we're going to see a real estate market in decline like we've never seen before. You see, back in the day when all the foreclosures hit, there was time. It was a gradual. People would get served their list pendants, and maybe 6 months or a year, things would happen. People would do their little bankruptcy filings to avoid the inevitable. But never before have I seen the possibility that we're going to get just deluged with people not having any place to live, as the eviction people are toast. And then the people who have homes in foreclosure, there's going to be no real respite for them any further either, however you want to say that word. So let's go ahead and, let's look at things and say, hey, listen, we don't really have a crystal ball, but we kind of do. We kind of see what's coming. To avoid that is basically financial malpractice. To ignore what's coming down the pike is ludicrous. Yeah, you can rely on these cases and you pray that something may happen, but this is July 2nd is the deadline. I don't know what else to show you, but I'm not making this up. There are probably some friends and people you know who are in a position that come July 2nd, game over. There are going to be some realtors who have listings that are going to have to begin chasing the market down as more and more inventory gets put into the market. More inventory, less people buying, prices go down. So I won't talk about this anymore until July 1st, or unless he extends it. No need to. We all see it. We all see what's happening. We all know that this is coming and we need to be ready for it. If by chance you're ready to jump in, okay, I forgot to say who I am. My name is Barry Cunningham. I'm a real estate investor here in South Florida. And if you'd like to participate in the coming wave of foreclosures and discount properties and non-performing assets, go ahead and leave me a message. We'll talk. We're getting people returns of 14 to 30% annualized. And we're going to need more capital to buy more properties, because we're going to buy them as the numbers go down, and we're going to make sure that we're at a safe point. It's coming, people. It's absolutely coming. And I do have a crystal ball. Talk to you tomorrow. It's Friday.